Good afternoon, children. How are you all? All of you are good? Am I audible to you all? Okay, fine. The picture is also clear, beta? The picture is also clear? I'm also good, Paras. Okay. Okay, Chitra. I have got your messages and now we will proceed on to the next. I told you in paleontological evidences, we have the first evidence as the missing link. Missing links, these are the extinct species which connected two classes, two different groups of organisms. These are the extinct species which connected two groups of organisms. The extinct species which connected two groups of organisms. So two groups of organisms were connected by these missing links. For example, you must have heard the name Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx. Have you heard of this name, Archaeopteryx? Have you heard of this, beta? This is a extinct species, and if you have heard, which two groups it related, it connected. It was, in the mid of the two groups of organisms, which two groups of organisms did it connect? It bridges aves and amphibians. That's right. That's right. Not amphibians, bache. Sukhsahaj, it's not amphibians. You have written amphibians. It's not amphibians. It is something else. Aves and it's not amphibians, Sukhsahaj. It is something else. Aves and, think of it, mammals. Paras, no, bache, not mammals. Aves and reptiles. So this is a group of organisms which link two groups of organisms. Those were reptiles and aves, birds. Aves means birds. It was a connected link between two types of organisms, reptiles and aves. So it had features of both reptiles as well as aves, of birds. It could fly and it has claws. So such type of features were present in it, and that means the features of both birds and reptiles were present in it. Then the second example of this is pteridosperms. These are group of plants named pteridosperms. Pteridosperms. These were some plants which has characteristics of both the ferns as well as pterido, as well as gymnosperms, ferns and gymnosperms. So because ferns are pteridophytes, so pterido for ferns, sperms from here. So it has the qualities of both gymnosperms and the pteridophytes, that means ferns. Then the third example of this is Velociraptus. Velociraptus. This was also an organism which has the features of both aves as well as reptiles. So these extinct connecting links, they tell that the evolution, they tell us about the process of evolution, that from where see Archaeopteryx was there, that means the evolution was from reptiles. The reptiles, after reptiles, Archaeopteryx came, and then the birds originated. So the missing links, they tell us a lot about the process of evolution. After this, the next evidence of evolution, after missing links, we have the next evidence of evolution, which is biogeographical evidences. So this was the third, I think. Paleontological evidences were the third, because we did morphological and anatomical evidences, then we did embryological evidences of evolution, then the third one is paleontological evidences, and the fourth is biogeographical evidences. The fourth evidence is biogeographical evidence. Evidence of evolution. Biogeographical evidence of evolution. What does this tell? First of all, in this, in the biogeographical evidence of evolution, the first subtopic which we have is the Darwin's finches. Darwin's finches. Finches are a type of bird. What type of bird? This I'll let you know. Now, the Darwin and his co-workers, they went on a voyage, Voyaje. They went on a voyage. Who? Darwin and his co-workers. Darwin and his co-workers. They all went on a voyage, and the name of the ship was HMS Beagle. The name of the ship was HMS Beagle, Beagle. This was the name of the fish, HMS Beagle. So they all went on a voyage in the ship. Now, where did they go? They went to the Galapagos Islands. They went to Galapagos Islands. These islands are a group of islands, and how many islands are there? Group of islands, I think about 20 to 22 islands. 20 to 22 islands are there. This group of islands is known as Galapagos Islands. This is on the west coast of South America. West coast of South America. West coast is this. Okay, on the west coast, there are about 20 to 22 islands. I don't remember how much it is, how many, about from 20 to 22 islands are there. These islands are known as Galapagos Island. So Darwin and his co-workers, they went on a voyage to that island in the ship named HMS Beagle. This is HMS Beagle. Now, what did they see there? When they went there, they saw these finches, small size, black colored fishes. When did they go? When they went there, they saw their finches. And what were these finches? These finches were, I think this is not visible to you now. I'll write it at the top. What did they see there? They saw there, when they reached there at the Galapagos Island, Galapagos Island, they saw their finches, because the Darwin and his co-workers, they observed them, they studied them. These finches are known as Darwin's finches. Darwin's finches, because Darwin studied them and they observed them. That is why Darwin and his co-workers, they studied them, they observed them. That is why these finches are known as Darwin's finches. And what are they? What is their characteristic features? They are small sized, black colored birds. They were small sized black colored birds. Now, what did he observe? He observed that the beak shapes, their beak shape was different. Now, why did they had this different beak shapes? They were one bird, finches, Darwin's finches, and they had different beak shapes. Now they observed, they studied them for quite a long time, and what did they observe? That they had different beak shapes feeding habits. Some of the finches, they used the seeds as food. Seeds, by seeds we also mean grains. Okay, then they also used to feed on flowers, cactus, cactus, flowers, nectar, buds, small insects, and of course, one more type of insects are there for which they have to really work hard, and those insects are insects found in woods. Insect found in wood. Insects found in wood. So they all had these different feeding habits. Some of them, they used to feed on seeds or grains. Some used to feed on cactus, some on flowers, some on nectar, and some on buds, small insects, and some on the insects which are found in the woods. The last line is not visible to you. Yes. So this was the different beak shape was just because of the different feeding habits. Now, what did they conclude? What did they conclude on their studies? After studying for them for quite a long time, they studied. They came to know. They concluded them all these varieties, all these different varieties, of finches. They have evolved from the main grain-eating variety. That means these were about 20 varieties of different beaks. 20 varieties. That means 20 varieties were there. They all had different beak shapes. Beak shapes. And this was, and after their study, they concluded, that all these 20 varieties which are found on Galapagos Island, all these different varieties, 20 varieties have evolved from the main What was the main type of finch? That was the grain or the seed eating. And from that grain or the seed eating variety, all different types of varieties have evolved. What type of evolution this is? What type of evolution this is? Anybody who can answer this question? What type of evolution is this? From one variety, 20 or many different types of varieties evolved. What type of evolution is this? Can anybody answer this question, beta? What type of evolution is this? Divergent. Yes, Paras, it is divergent. This evolution is divergent evolution. This evolution is divergent evolution. Why it is divergent evolution? You know, this is divergent evolution because from one single seed eating, this is seed eating, many different types of varieties evolved. Okay, see, when the number of seed eating birds were many, when the number of seed eating birds increased, first there were only seed eating birds. First there were only seed eating. I think this is not visible to you. Just a minute, beta. I'll make it visible. Seed or grain eating species. This was the seed or the grain eating species. What happened that when the number of seed eating birds increased, so there was more competition for the seeds or the grain. Now they had to survive. So what will they do if they want to survive and the food is less? They will switch over to another type of feeding habit. They will switch over to another type of food. So some of them, they stopped eating grains or seeds and they started eating, say, small insects. Some of them, they started eating buds. Some of them, they started eating, say, cactus. Some of them started eating flowers because the number of seed or grain eating birds increased. So there was less food. So they switched over to different feeding habits. Some of them, they started eating insects in the woods, insects in woods, insects in wood. Some of them started eating, say, feeding on nectar. So this way, what happened, from one type, many type came into existence. But the main was the seed eating species, seed eating variety, seed eating species. So when there was more competition and the amount of food, it decreased, and the food decreased in amount, so they all switched over to different feeding habits and they started feeding on different food material, and based on the type of food which they eat, their beak took that shape. Okay, the insect eating, small insect eating birds, they had different type of hook shaped beak. The ones which fed on flower nectar, it had small pointed, I mean with tube like pointed beak. So different shapes of beaks evolved on the basis of their feeding habits. Is it clear to you, children? This the first point of biogeographical distribution is clear to you, beta? Okay, fine. Okay, I'm getting the response that it is clear. Okay, okay, Paras, okay, Sukhsahaj. Now, this was the first in biogeographical evidence of evolution. The second in this is restricted distribution. The second point in this is restricted distribution. Okay, before restricted distribution, otherwise you will not be able to understand that. I'll tell you discontinuous distribution of organisms. discontinuous distribution of organisms. That all the continents were fused. All the continents were fused. Continents were fused. That means all the continents were one continent. They were single, they were one. Now, later on, what happened? They started going, first of all, there was breakage in them, and they started moving away from each other. Okay, after breaking, all the continents started moving away from each other. They started moving away from each other. Now, when they started moving away from each other, what happened? When they started moving away from each other, the organisms which were living on those continents, they also moved away from each other. Suppose here we had, say, a number of species here. Okay, a number of species were present here. When when this continent broke, say, into three pieces, when this continent broke into three pieces, one, two, three, and all the three pieces, it started moving away from each other. So this piece which reached one side of the, say, globe, and this piece which reached another side of the globe, and this piece which reached another side of the globe, they carried all these organisms. These organisms were also carried by them. These organisms were also carried by them. So they carried with them all those organisms which were there on that piece of land, because when the continents, they separated from each other, they carried with them all those organisms which survived on them, which existed on them before. Now, that is why, now also you find one type of organism at, distant places. For example, the best example is of elephant. The best example is of elephants. Elephants are found in two continents. Okay, elephants are found in, I'll tell you the countries. One country, this is India, and besides India, it is also found in Africa. This is just because of discontinuous distribution of organisms, because of the separation of continents. Elephants are found only in India and in Africa. Of course, when the elephants are taken from there, see, this is their, we'll say, the natural habitat, where they originated, where they were found previously. It was only India and Africa. Later on, of course, what happened, that some elephants were taken to different countries, and they're also there now, they are found. But the original habitat of elephants is India and Africa. They are found only in India and Africa, and that evolution. The second example of this I can give is the lungfishes. Lungfishes, you know what are lungfishes? Lungfishes are the fishes which have, a rudimentary lung-like structure. Lungs, of course, they have. They breathe by lung, not that developed like the terrestrial animals, but they do have lungs, and that is why these fishes are known as lungfishes. Some lungfishes are found in Australia. Some lungfishes are found in South America, and some lungfishes are also found in Africa. There are three types. These three types of lungfishes which are found in Australia, South America, and Africa are Neoceratodus, the one which is found here is Neoceratodus. The one which is found in here, South America, is Lepidosiren. Lepidosiren. And the one which is found in Africa is Protopterus. So these are the fishes, different types of lungfishes, the ones which are found in Australia, South America, and Africa. So this is again because of the separation of the continents, the different continents separated, and they carried with them those organisms which used to live on